Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. It's been a minute since we've been on the podcast, but man, there's a lot of hunting news going on right now. I mean, over the last several weeks, there's been a lot going on, and man, there's just a lot that we need to get out there to you guys. Make sure you know what's going on and are aware of these things that are happening in your state or states that you want to hunt in or plan to hunt in or just have family that hunt in, and whatever the case may be. And so we're back again today with another newscast. And so a lot of really good information, guys. So I encourage you to stay tuned. We're going to talk about a lot of different states. We're going to talk about Utah, Colorado, Idaho, Nevada. So just a lot going on. And like I said, if you're hunting in these states, care about these states at all, you really need to stay tuned and listen to this podcast because it's going to affect you. I can promise you that. So, before we get started, I just want to make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, like it, leave us reviews, all those fun things. It really does help out. You know, you hear people say that, podcasters and YouTubers say that all the time, but it honestly does make a huge difference to us as far as us getting seen and people listening to our podcast. Sharing it with your friends and family is another thing that's really huge. So, anyways, if you guys could do that, holy moly. That would be great. But anyways, here in the podcast studio, still trying to get settled into our new place. It's probably still a little bit echoey. Sorry, guys. Still trying to get things put in here, do a little sound dampening and stuff like that. Hey, but I do have my all my mounts here. In fact, I've got all my Euro mounts lined up here along the wall. Need to get them hung up. I got to find all my skull hookers and stuff like that to get these things hung up. But super excited to get them up on the wall and be able to have them look at them. And it's why, not really why we do what we do, but it definitely brings back the memories of all these things. I'm looking at my elk that I shot in Colorado a few years ago. Man, what a trip that was. That was so much fun with a lot of really good guys, and just that whole situation, how it happened. It's so quick. And anyways, so much fun. But so we are kind of right in the middle of, we're right in the middle of application season. So make sure that you've got your apps in of all the states that you want to put in. There's a lot of them that have closed. So if you didn't get put in on some of them, like Arizona, New Mexico, sorry guys, too late. Utah's coming up here pretty quick to close as well. And so if you don't have your applications in for that, make sure you get in for whatever you want to put in for there. But right in the middle of that, right in the middle of or kind of in the start of all the TACs and Mountain Archery Fests and Western Hunt Fest and all those awesome things. I've been shooting a lot of bows lately. I've pretty much spent most every evening shooting my bow, getting really excited for this year. We're headed to New Zealand next month, and so I'm going to take the bows with us, and I just want to make sure that I'm dialed in and can make the shot that I need to on a red stag, but also getting pretty pumped for the TACs that are coming up and Mountain Archery Fest, and going to try and hit up Soldier Hollow. Going to be there on that Friday. So if you guys are going to be there, let me know, hit me up, leave a comment, let me know you're going to be there, as well as the Total Archery Challenge in Colorado. So if you're going to be there, we'll be there. I'll be there with Chad and Lee and Frank, a couple other guys, the guys that I went to Colorado with. Or went hunting in Colorado. And anyways, we're going to be there. So if you guys are going to be at the Colorado TAC, let me know. Love to chat with you guys and get to know you a little bit. And so it kind of leads me into my question of the day. So been building arrows lately and just changing things up. And one of the things that I have changed is my field tips. So I've done a little bit of study on these, and I'd love to hear your guys' comments. So my question of the day is regarding field tips. This isn't a question from anybody else. This is my question to you all that do your own arrow builds and really, geek out on that stuff like I've kind of been doing lately. But I'm just wondering about which field tips you guys use. Do you use the, all-in-one where you basically glue the field tip in? Are you a match grade field tip person? And that's honestly what I've been using lately are the match grade ones, and I really like them. Or are you just the, standard buy them from Sportsman's Warehouse, whatever you can find, whatever grain you can find, and all is well with it. So does it really make that big of a difference? Do you like one over the other? Do you like a certain brand over another? So wherever you're, taking your content in from, whether it be a Podbean or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You can leave comments in all those areas. And I'd really like to get a conversation going on field tips and what really works well. Because we talk a lot about broadheads, right? Which broadhead you like? Personally, I'm a Grim Reaper guy. But there's been great ones. I've used G5s in the past. I've used a lot of different ones. But we talk a lot about broadheads and, which one's the best or which one do you like? Honestly, whichever one kills the animal is the best one for me. But we don't really talk a lot about field tips. And so anyways, question of the day, which field tips do you prefer if you're an arrow builder? Why do you prefer some over the others? I'd love to hear your comments. So that's the question of the day. Hope you guys are getting out and shooting. Also, check out our latest YouTube video. I did a review on the KUIU hip quiver, and there's a link in that video to go and get that hip quiver at a discounted price. So go and check that out. But that hip quiver is awesome. So actually, I guess depending on when you're listening to this, it may still be at a discounted price. It may not be, but check it out. And it just, using that link helps support the show, helps support what we're doing here at Ehuntr. So anyways, just go check that video out. Let me know what you think about that as well. Leave a comment on that video and let me know your thoughts on that thing. So, all right, guys, let's get into the news that's going on around the country right now when it comes to hunting. Because like I said, there's quite a bit going on. I'm going to start here in my home state of Utah. So if you watch any of the RAC meetings or listen to them, try to stay up to speed with what's going on. There's a lot going on. They changed the muzzleloader season, so you can no longer use a high-powered scope. You get a 1-power scope for muzzleloaders. But then there's also other changes that they're talking about. They're talking about doing 4-point only units. They're talking about changing some of the rifle hunts to be more primitive, changing the archery equipment to be more primitive. So a lot of stuff is going on, but they did release a news release on recommended big game permit changes. And across the board, most of the hunts have an increase in tags from 2023 to 2024. Now, again, we're coming to the draws of Utah, and so got to make this decision pretty quick. But, just give me an example. For the general Utah deer, last year they had 64,700 and change tags. This year they're proposing to up that up to 71,500 tags. It's across the state, but still, that's a lot of tags to increase. And so, and that really goes for a lot of the hunts, the limited entry deer going up by about 100 tags or maybe a little bit more. We'll see. Actually, no, excuse me. I apologize. Maybe not a little bit more. That one might be a little bit less. They initially said 100 tags, but it might not be quite that much, maybe closer to the 50 mark. Anyways, it may be coming down. And then if you look at some of the other hunts across the state, like the pronghorn, the antelope hunts, they recommended increasing those tags by about 100. And then there's some that stayed the same. A lot of the antlerless tags either went down or stayed the same. The spike hunt, I believe it stayed the same. I can't remember. I believe it's like 15,000 tags for that hunt, and I think they're going to keep it at that. But I think they're going to put a cap on the multi-season one. But anyways, so a lot of these tag numbers are changing, and so if you are putting in for these hunts, it really could impact you and what you're gonna, what you may be doing. And so I just kind of a real life impact on a lot of people is the like the once in a lifetime tags. Once in a lifetime is something that obviously is once in a lifetime. It's something that we put in here in Utah for our whole lives, and I guess a lot of people do as well. But like the moose tags, they pretty much stay the same. Bison tags, they're proposing to drop them significantly. If I remember right, it's almost in half for those tags. Bighorn sheep kind of stayed the same. There wasn't really a lot of changes on the deserts or the Rockies on that one, and same with mountain goats. So a lot of those are the same. But again, if you're that person putting it in for the bison hunt and that's your once in a lifetime tag that you've been building points for, well, you got to know now that those tags could be cut in half. So anyways, big changes coming that could happen there. So make sure that you are, following that, find out what the results are to that. And the bad thing is, like I said, we're putting in for hunts right now into Utah draws. So you're trying to decide what you want to do, but they're also recommending these changes at this point. So you're kind of putting in not knowing exactly what's going to happen, but I don't know. Just pay attention to it, because it really may impact if you draw a tag. It may be maybe the last tag you get for a while, and some of these things, it could impact your hunts quite a bit. So make sure you're staying on top of that. The other, there's a couple other Utah changes that I feel like that we need to talk about. So they did change the shed antler gathering laws. Nothing really too crazy here. There's no seasonal closures anymore like there have been in the past for Utah residents. So I guess I should go back and say there's not a season for residents. For non-residents, there is. It's from May 1st to December 31st. So that's when non-residents can come and get shed antlers. But for residents, they got rid of that. You do have to complete that online course if you're going to gather sheds. So just know that if you're out there gathering sheds right now, which is a great time to be out getting sheds, you want to make sure that you've got that certificate completed, and you can put it. The DWR, the Utah DWR has an app, and you can upload your combination license in there. You can upload these kind of courses. There's one for bears as well, but you have to have those, and so you have to show proof that you've completed them, and so you can upload those to your phone, or you can print it off and carry it with you if you want. But I don't know. Utah's getting kind of strict about a lot of this stuff. Like they're putting, they're establishing basically $1 amount per pound for antlers for those people that are doing it commercially. It's becoming a business. It really is for a lot of people, and so when it becomes a business, then they got to put some stipulations on it. But anyways, just a few little changes to hunting or to Utah and some of the stuff going on there. There is actually, before I move on from Utah, there is one more change to Utah that I think that people ought to know about. By the way, guys, as I'm going through this, if there's not articles up on the website already on these items, there will be. And so if you listen to this podcast, you're like, oh, what did Taryn say about this? You can reference the articles on our website as well. And we love you guys being on our website. I mean, it's good for us to see you guys there. So, and great place to talk as well. You can create an account on our website. You can almost use it like a forum and just talk about these different things and what your thoughts and feelings are on them. And anyways, reference our website if you have any questions about any of this stuff. So the other big change for Utah that I wanted to talk about was the Hunter Orange. So historically, the ruling's kind of been general. You had to have 400 square inches of Hunter Orange on your body, which, that's, I don't think any officer is going to come and pull out the tape and measure. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? But what they've found is that hunters would wear orange, that 400 square inches of orange, but then they would put a camel coat over the top of it or, something like that. And so the law basically just clarifies that if you're hunting big game, you have to, to wear it so it's visible, and it's got to be in areas. So it's got to have you got to have a hat, shirt, jacket, coat, vest, sweater. Basically they want this visible. Another thing they're changing or trying to change is that, enforcing people that aren't hunters to wear orange. And so, I don't know. They're just trying to say that, if you're hiking or whatever, you may have to wear orange. I haven't seen that yet, but that's what they're working through right now. And so I'll keep you guys updated if that actually goes into effect. But they're basically what they're saying is if they're recreating in the wildlife management area, that during a rifle hunt, that's going to be required to wear orange, whether you're the hunter or not. So more to come on that one. So anyways, that's what's kind of going on with Utah. There's other things that are happening as well. But remember, the newscast is really to bring you guys' attention to some of the bigger items that really could impact your hunts. And those are the kind of the ones for Utah. Now, I would, I can't have a news podcast without talking about wolves in Colorado. It's always there, and it always will be. They're not going away, sadly. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Sadly, they're spreading, and so I'm sure you guys saw the reel that we put up when they released them with their governor and all that. It was all sunshine and rainbows that day that they were releasing the wolves, but they released a map of where the wolves have gone to, at least the collared ones that they have, and they're spreading pretty quickly. So if you hunt in the Eagle, Winter Park, Granby, Silverthorne area, that's where a lot of the wolves are at. In fact, they're actually even going way out, or they're moving out west into Moffat County as well as Garfield County, and so they're spreading pretty quickly. Obviously, looking for food sources. But if you guys haven't seen that map of where they're at, again, check out the website, and you'll see where they're going to. And they put up updates pretty frequently on their social media platforms, as we do as well, and kind of talk about what the wolves are doing. Guys, it's causing a lot of havoc. I think it's something that we've been talking about for a long time, ever since I interviewed the Colorado Parks and Wildlife officials way back in the day when it was first introduced. That we were so concerned about the impact that they're going to have on these big game animals, and also not just the big game animals, but domestic animals and possibly even kids. And we're starting to see that. Obviously, the impact on the wildlife is crazy. I mean, they are just they're hammering them. So if you're a hunter in those areas, you're going to really have to think. At Colorado, the application deadline's already passed, but another year or two, it really could have an impact on the animals that you're seeing in those areas if it doesn't already. But then it's also impacting these. There was a beef cow that was killed by wolves, and you'll start to see more and more of that as the wildlife begins to be more sparse and harder to find. Then the wolves will go after domestic animals because they're easy. Killing sheep and killing cows is pretty easy for them. So that's what they'll start focusing on is killing those, and they'll start to continue to spread out further and further and further. One of the wolves is, well, I shouldn't say one. They know of one. There could be multiple that has gone up into Wyoming, and they'll continue to spread further and further into different states. But they already have spread up into Wyoming, and they'll just continue to move out further and further. So we'll see what the CPW does with them. It's kind of interesting to sit back and watch it. It's sad as a hunter and a recreator to see what they're doing to the things that we love. I don't know. Love to know your guys' thoughts on it. Again, every place that you're listening to this podcast, you can leave a comment on. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the wolf impact on Colorado and the hunting in Colorado. So anyways, keep up to date with that map. Again, that's just the collared ones, and it continues to spread and spread and spread. So I think before long, it's going to be covering pretty much the entire state and going into other states. So that's kind of your Colorado wolf update. I won't go too much into the attack on the domestic cow. Again, check out the website for articles on those. But I think you'll see more and more of those. It'll kind of become like poaching, I think. There for a while, we had so many poaching articles up on the website. But dang it, if it wasn't just like every single article was a poaching article, it just got old. And really disappointing in the people that are poaching. But anyways, it's kind of how this is going to be. I think this is going to get to the point where it's just, oh, yep, another cow's been killed, another herd of sheep's been killed, and it is what it is. But it really is it's a sad day for the people that hunt Colorado, the people that live in Colorado. All right, guys. So that's really it for Colorado. Again, the deadline for applying has already passed, but make sure that if you did get applied, that you're staying up to date on our website with all the updates, not just with wolves, but with everything going on. All right, we're jumping around a little bit. We're going to go to Idaho next. So for all you Idaho people, listen up. Here we are. We're not a ton going on in Idaho. I will say that one of the things that I wanted to mention is the impact that Idaho had in their southeast territory on the mule deer. So we've talked so much about the impact that winter has on mule deer, the winter kill. We've had these foundations start up as far as like the winter range foundation to help these animals on the winter range, to help in any way that we can with their migration or whatever. Anyways, Idaho had a pretty harsh winter in that southeast area that really impacted a lot of deer in that area. And so I just want to make sure that you're aware if that's an area that you do hunt, you really ought to look into, call your local biologist. We'll try to keep as much information up on our site as we can, but you may want to reach out to the biologist in that area. And I apologize, I don't know their name, so I can't even give you a name for that. But if I could, I absolutely would. And if I do find one, I will put it in the article. But maybe reach out to them if that's an area that you like to hunt and focus on. Just to kind of, when I say southeast, it's Pocatello, Blackfoot, and then southeast of that down to the corner of Utah. So again, if you're in that area and are going to be hunting in that area, just know the impact. And it's not really even just this last year. They've had a pretty good impact over the last several years. In fact, I think it was like 2016, 2017 was a really good, not a good year, but one of the better years that they've had in that area for buck harvest. But since that year, and I apologize, it was either 2016 or it might have been 2015. Anyway, since that year, there's been a decrease in buck harvest pretty much every year. And with that, obviously, the hunters have gone down. Fewer and fewer people apply to that area because of the impact to the deer numbers. So if you're applying to that area, just something to think about, something that you ought to be aware of. And the Idaho Fish and Game are actually doing a public hearing to get, kind of the public's input on what kind of management they should do in the southeast Idaho area. Obviously they're the professionals. They really know, what the best way to do things. But they are putting I apologize, not a public hearing. I said that wrong. It's a deer advisory committee, I believe is what it is. Kind of similar to what they're doing in Utah with the mule deer committee. But this one's kind of a new one for the southeast Idaho area that they're putting together. They just really want to get information and input from mule deer hunters to talk about the changes that they need to make in that area to try and kind of get it back to what it used to be. That used to be a really, really good area, and there's still some great bucks in there, but it used to be a really good area to go and hunt. And a lot of, it was a bit of a challenge to get in that or get a tag in that area. But anyways, they are putting that committee together, the Mule Deer Advisory Committee together. And so if you're looking, or if you're interested in being a member of that, they are looking for members to be part of that committee. And so if it's an area that you hunt and know a little bit about, and obviously know about mule deer, great opportunity to have your voice be heard and help out. So, all right, guys, the last thing that I'm going to end this on a positive note. It's been kind of a little bit of a droning on of different things, different articles. But again, these are the newscasts. So these will be a little bit less fun, but they'll be very informative to you, and just try to give you guys the news as quickly as possible. We're going to try and keep them to about 30 to 45 minutes so that it doesn't take up all your day, but you guys can listen in and get a quick, update on some of the bigger news pieces that are going on in the country, specifically in the Western United States. Well, I got a break though, guys. Do want to tell you, make sure that you subscribe to wherever you're listening to, whether that be a podcast platform or YouTube. Huge. And if you're not watching this on YouTube, go on to YouTube, give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe to our channel. Again, it does help us a ton. So, all right, I'm going to end with a really fun one. So we've talked about this one in the past. don't know if you guys remember, but we did a a podcast on how do you say coyote? Is it coyote or is it coyote? We called a bunch of different people and asked them how they said it, and it was a great podcast. But on that podcast, we talked a little bit about coyote calling contests, or really hunting contests in general, because there've been people that have been trying to ban hunting contests around the country, and actually successfully so. There are areas that they've banned these hunting contests. California, Washington, some of these areas they've already banned them. But on a positive note, so in Nevada, they've been trying to ban it for, like 9 years, something like that, 10 years. They've been trying to ban any kind of wildlife killing contest. So not just coyotes, but any kind of killing contest. And the Nevada DWR, or whatever they're called, they continue to refuse to ban it. So I think, I can't remember. I'll have to look at the article again that we put up, but I believe that they've tried 4 times in the last 9 years to ban it, and the Nevada Department of Wildlife continues to shut it down. So I love it because, I don't know, I don't get to compete in those contests as much as I like to, but I like to be able to, and it's fun. It's a good opportunity to do some conservation, because obviously predator management is conservation. It's something that we've got to do. But it's a good time to get out with your buddies, have some friendly competition, have fun, test out your skills. I don't know. It's just a good time. And for me, it's a little nostalgic because I used to do it with my dad back in the day. We didn't have a lot of luck on the contest that him and I did together, but we had a lot of fun. I remember him and his buddy Mark Bowler. The 3 of us did a contest together, and it went through, the western part of Utah. I think we ended up in Delta or something like that is where we ended up after it was all said and done, but just called all day long, and it was so much fun. So a little nostalgia with me on that one, but I'm super glad that Nevada continues to shut that down. And guys, we got to have our voice be heard on that. Honestly, we've got to let everybody know, and make sure that we're loud and saying that, no, we need to keep these things, because again, it's conservation, it's wildlife management. It's what we can do. It's a little piece that we can do to help manage the wildlife. And like I said, predator management is a big piece of that. It's something that we have got to do to do our part. So anyways, those are the big news articles and items that are going on right now in a few of the states. Little things going on, like the Wyoming Game and Fish, they're changing their website. So if that's a website you visit often, it's going to change a little bit. It's something that I look at quite frequently. But we try to put all the heavy hitting articles and the big news things on our website so that you guys are up to speed. And obviously this podcast is really hitting the top of the top with those articles and those issues and things going on, the news that's going on. So I love these newscasts. They're a lot of fun. I guess I don't know about a lot of fun. I'd much rather be talking to Tyler or somebody like that about archery hunting right now. And speaking of that, so we do have some really good podcasts coming up. Going to have Preston Ward with Mountain Physio come back on. We're going to talk a little bit about what he's doing. Also going to pick his brain a little bit about archery ergonomics, fundamentals, maybe talk about some strength and range of motion exercises that we can do to help not only just shoot better, but maybe increase our poundage with bows. I'm going to ask, just kind of pick his brain about some of those things. Also going to have my buddy Chad. So you guys have heard me talk about Chad on these podcasts quite a bit. He's the one that, went to Alaska with, hunted Colorado with, hunted Arizona with. Him and I have been to a lot of places, and dang it if we haven't had a lot of fun. And him and I are the ones that are going to New Zealand with our wives next month. But going to have him join the podcast quite a bit over the next little while. Going to talk about some pretty cool topics. Those will be a lot more fun than these newscasts are. So, but these are good. I think that this is something that when you guys see these podcasts come out, I really encourage you to hop on, give them a quick listen. And we're at 30 minutes here, and we talked about a lot of the big things going on in some of these bigger states. But they're a lot of fun. Before we close, guys, just want to tell our supporters and our partners thank you. Onyx has been a partner of ours for a long time. So grateful for them and their support. Make sure you check them out. Onyx Maps. If you're going to do any kind of hunting, no matter where you're going, west, east, Mexico, I don't care where you're going, but make sure that you guys have onX with you. It is a game changer when it comes to being out in the woods. And I know there's other mapping companies that are starting to put stuff out, and I've played with quite a few of them. Guys, they just don't compare. onX is the way to go. It really is. So want to tell them how much we appreciate them. Like I said, Grim Reaper Broadheads is another one that has helped us out a ton, and grateful for them. Make sure that if you guys are preparing your bows for archery season this year, that you are looking at Grim Reapers, Broadheads. They're killing machines, man. I can tell you story after story of myself and friends that have killed with those things, and they're pretty dang impressive. And as always, Vortex Optics, grateful for them and their support of Ehuntr and everything that we do here, specifically the podcast. Oh, also one quick shout out to PhoneScope as well. Want to tell them thank you. If you guys haven't seen their newest case, the Carbon Pro, pretty amazing. If you guys didn't see the video that I did a comparison video between PhoneScope and MagView, and I like the MagView. It's a great product. I mean, it's fantastic. It works well, especially if you change phones quite a bit. It's a great one to do for that. But PhoneScope released this new Carbon Pro, and it solved the issue that I complained about on that video, and that was that I always left the adapter on it, and it looked like you had a can of chew in your pocket or something like that. It wasn't comfortable in your pocket. It's not a case that you could use all the time. Even if you didn't have the adapter on, it had that big circle thing, and so it just didn't work out very well. The new Carbon Pro case is pretty sweet, so be on the lookout. Hoping to have a review up on that here pretty soon. But game changer, guys. If you haven't seen it, check it out, and hopefully we'll have some good content for you guys around that case here pretty soon as well. I'm going to stop by their shop there in Beaver, Utah. Going to stop in and do a podcast with them as well. Hopefully get Cheston to jump on with me and talk all things scoped industries, whether it be PhoneScope or Pyro Putty or whatever the case may be. They've got a lot of cool products there, and I don't know, good guys. So hopefully I have that podcast for you guys here pretty soon as well. But anyways, guys, that's enough of the news. Again, if you guys have any questions about any of these, refer back to the website. Leave comments anywhere that you're listening to this podcast. Leave comments on the website. I'd really like to get a conversation going about the Colorado Wolves and everybody's thoughts on that on the website. So if you haven't created an account on the website, go on, create your account, use it like a forum. Like I said, let's talk about these things. Let's get some of this stuff up there and get some good content out there on the website. Good conversations going. Be good, be nice, all those fun things. But it's a great place to be able to talk these things through. So, anyways, guys, sure appreciate all that you guys do for Ehuntr. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, as well as our social media platforms. Stay tuned to a lot of our stories. I don't know if you guys have paid attention, but a lot of our stories actually have discount codes and some hookups on some really, really cool products. So again, if you're not subscribed or following our pages, make sure you do that, because it really could pay you back in the long run. Anyways, guys, be good. We'll see you on the next one.